Her writing has appeared in The Economist, The New York Observer, and the Jersey City Independent, as well as on Broadway.com, where she was the senior entertainment reporter. She's the author of the blog The Trouble with Poet, which is amazing, you have to check it out, and the co-curator of the forthcoming collection, Delicate Fucking Flower, Sweet Poems for Sour Girls, Kimberly Kaye.
Woo! Yeah, Kim.
So, hi. I don't know if you guys remember this, but before MTV hired out-of-staters to humiliate the state of New Jersey via the Jersey Shore, there were residents there that were perfectly capable of doing this themselves. And so this story goes out to them. So my 6-word memoir is the first date stopped traffic, literally, and we're going to go from there. So I guess to start, I was not a particularly attractive person in high school. No one you'd particularly notice. And so around senior year, I had sort of been accustomed to being invisible. It was sort of a nice, sort of calm way to mediate your way through life. And then I woke up like one Tuesday with like triple D tits, which I'd like to blame my mother for. Thanks, Mom. It's been really nice to have you here. And so I show up at school the next day, and it turns out that it is open season for chicks with triple D tits. And suddenly I'm receiving a lot of attention that I'm not totally comfortable with. One of the people who was vying for the attention of the new chick with triple D tits was I guess we'll call him a Laguido. That would be Latino and Italian. Like a sort of, hey, mommy, sort of something incongruous about that sort of thing. He wore green contacts, a lot of wife beaters, loved a good Yankee jersey, and had a pinky ring. He looked a little like A-Rod, but was not A-Rod. So let's go with Nay-Rod or B-Rod, C-Team Rod, somewhere in between. And so I got to meet Nay-Rod for the first time when he approached me with, yo, mommy, wake me up, I must be dreaming. I've been dreaming about that ass all day. And I was like, I go to madrigals, choir, and marching band in between this, so this is like, I'm really uncomfortable right now. So I said no to all forward advances from Nay-Rod. Cue the 10 things I hate about you, Heath Ledger sort of approach to things. He showed up at my madrigals choir rehearsal, sitting in the back to watch me wear the contraceptive device of a flowery collar while singing Latin. A cappella. He left notes on my other contraceptive device, which was the minivan my parents again gave me to drive to school. I'd like to thank you both again for that. That was really a great experience. And culminated with showing up in my earth sciences class with a dozen red roses and, for no apparent reason, a bag of pretzels. Because nothing says do me like pretzels. He got down on one knee and completely refused to leave the class until I agreed to go on a formal date with him. And we were learning about the tundra, and that shit's really interesting, so I said yes, just so he'd leave and we could get on with like the penguins and shit. So flash forward to Friday, it being New Jersey and me having newly acquired these tits, I decide that I'm going to pour myself into a gold snake skin print dress and a pair of platform candies, something classy, understated, really appropriate to bring home to Mom. And Nay-Rod rolls up in his Too Fast, Too Furious Ford Probe GT with the lowered base, and he couldn't afford rims, so he painted the hubcap silver. And then as he opened the door and let me get in there, I saw he had all this sick red interior which came off on your hands because it was Crayola red paint. Like, you didn't even spring for the acrylic paint, you went with the water base because that was cheaper. That was a good choice. So Nay-Rod takes me to the Italian restaurant in Belmar, New Jersey. Anyone? Belmar, New Jersey?
Yeah, Belmar.
Yeah, this is my crowd. Thank you. It's good to see you here. And because he worked at this restaurant, he could get us alcohol, table in the back, order all sorts of shit. Things that 17-year-olds should not be allowed to do for a variety of reasons. So he brings me in, suave as fuck. I gotta admit, he had a pinky ring. He was wearing a blazer that didn't fit that well, but I thought it did because I didn't know any better. We sit in the back. Even though we're underage, they bring us a bottle of pink bubbly champagne, which I was just like, yeah. And then for the rest of the night, he's stuffing dollar bills into the shirt pockets of the servers, people that he's friends with, like people he clearly borrowed this money from to go on this date to begin with. But he is the Don of Belmar, New Jersey. By the time we finish our fried calamad, she would not stop calling it calamad, and our mozzarella and our rack of lamb, you know, I'm almost starting to think, I've had a couple glasses, and this guy's really popular, even though he has no skills aside from pretending he's from Compton or Sicily, depending on whether the people he's standing next to are brown or white. And I'm going, yeah, man, casual boob graze. Definitely. You're definitely allowed to do the casual boob graze during the kiss at the end of the night. Maybe more. I don't know. I'm drunk. So we get in the car, and things start to go horribly awry when Nayrod turns on the 112 classic Peaches and Cream. For those of you born after 1983, I think that you should know that Peaches and Cream is a euphemism for one dessert that refers in a really obscene way to another type of dessert. And Nayrod begins to lick his lips like he's in an LL Cool J video and he just ate an apple. You know, sort of. He's looking at me, and this horrifying kind of tenor is just singing the most obscene lines in the song. Again, for people born after 1983, that includes, know what I mean, peaches and cream. There's kind of like a gesture to it. I need it because you know that I'm a fiend. You know, that's another thing. He's looking at me, and he's singing, and he's got one arm kind of slung over the wheel while he looks at my dessert cart. He's doing this thing that sort of goes, yeah, mommy, I'm so suave, I don't even need to try driving this car. Which was a fucking fallacy because 10 seconds later, he turns the car onto New Jersey train tracks. I don't mean like next to the train tracks or like maybe we hit like one of those cool barber pole looking things with the stripes, like onto New Jersey Transit train tracks during like peak summer hours. And because Too Fast, Too Furious decided to lower his Ford Probe, because that's a car that needs to be lowered to begin with, you should get that as close to the ground as possible. We are now stuck on New Jersey Transit train tracks at 8:45 on a Friday night. Okay, this is going well. So, 6 cop cars, 1 tow truck, an ambulance later. Nayrod and I are standing in the gravel, me in my platform shoes and my gold snakeskin dress, explaining why it is that our car is on train tracks and not actually on the right-hand turn. It was a mere 5 feet. I mean, that was all we needed, like 5 more feet. That's like me and like 6 more inches. Like, that's it. That's absurd. They have had to shut down train traffic in both directions during peak weekend hours. But to add to the humiliation, traffic for cars has been shut down in both directions. So we have beeping cars, angry trains, ambulances, angry cops, and then as I stand there holding my head up high in my gold snakeskin dress, it begins to rain. Because God hates me. So we get the car off the tracks. Nayrod's papa comes to pick us up in his white Mercedes, because, right, white Mercedes. Drives us home, brings me to my house, lets his disgraced son walk me to the door. Nayrod very, very sweetly walks me to that front door, and he says to me 2 things. And I'll remember these 2 things for the rest of my life. He said, "Will you promise not to tell anyone about this? And also, Can I maybe get a BJ? I'll let y'all figure out whether I agreed to either of those.
We're a family magazine, the Smith magazine, so I'm going to tell you a little quick family story. I have a recent